All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome everybody to the recap for the 21-22 season and the update going into the 22-23 season, just to give everyone kind of a just an update before we get to the slides. You know, I know a lot of there's been the stuff going on with our rinks where we all play and spend all of our time and have so much joy. The one thing I want to make clear that's super important is that I want Austin Metro Hockey to be your guys' happy place and know that we're safe and stable. We're excited going into the 22-23 season. We're excited what we learned during the last season, and you know, talking to the rinks so far, you know, on ice, North Cross and HEB Center, they're not changing the ice that they're giving us. We're still going to be able to rent ice, still going to be able to play our games. So we're super excited about that. So I know a lot of stuff went on with the rink stuff. You know, regardless of that, we are moving forward. We're working hard to make our program better each year. And that's why we're here tonight. Just know that this meeting last year was about 3 weeks later than it is now. I say that because some of the information that we don't yet have available is for reasons that are out of our control. One is USA Hockey hasn't rolled their year over yet. So everything with registering for USA Hockey as of today is still 21-22. So going into next season, when everyone registers as a coach, as a player, as a volunteer, you're supposed to register for 22-23. And that happens within the first week of April. So I just wanted to make that clear as we move forward here. So, and I know this call probably gets maxed out with the amount of users that we let in on Zoom. We are recording it. So if anyone's texting you, we will record it and have it available on our website. So our amazing Laura, who does a ton for our program, is on here. She's going to help us with the slideshow. So if you want to get her started off. So we wanted to just kind of do a recap of last year. One thing we talked about as a board and as a hockey people is the successes we had in 21-22, and then the lessons we learned. And a lot of these slides you'll see is lessons we learned from parents, players, hockey, age group coordinators, the hockey community, on things we could do better that are in our power to do so, and the changes we're going to make. So I'll report on the Texas Junior Star successes and then the lessons learned, and then the great Phil Oberlin will touch on the Rising Star side of the house. Just some of the updates and the successes we had at the Junior Stars level that are important to note is we had 4 of our 8 teams make the DSTHL playoffs. Our 10U AA team had the best record in all of the DSTHL out of 10U AA teams. Our 12U A2 team also had the best record in all the DSTHL. If you're new to Texas, that's the Dallas Stars Travel Hockey League, which is the program our junior stars play in. And our 12U AA2 team not only had the best record, but they won the state championship. Our 14U AA team lost in overtime. And in the championship game against the Texas Tigers, they actually would have been our first team ever to represent Austin at the national level. So we were very, very close. They would have had an automatic berth to the national tournament, where all the other best 14U AA teams go to face off. So improvements on that. A good and a bad is we lost one of our great coaches, Chris Francis. He moved up in the hockey world. He moved up to the North American Hockey League for the Odessa Jackalopes. We lost him about 2 months left in the season. So while it was sad to see him go, we were super happy and supportive that, that he gets to move on and excel in coaching, which is what he loved to do. And we have 7 players from the Austin community, hockey community, representing our city in the Rocky Mountain District camp, which is the best players from the Rocky Mountain District, and they'll be representing us moving forward in the summer. So those are some of the successes. Some of the lessons learned we want to cover that I think are important, some things we've updated and added to make the AMHA program better. Some overall, for the whole entire overall, is We've updated our hockey leadership. We did that for more collaboration across all levels. You'll see that on the next slide, which will make everyone excited. Again, we have AMHA Cares, which is AMHA Cares at austinmetrohockey.org, which is a platform for parents to send feedback, concerns. It's a non-biased group of folks who review that, but not only that, they're taking it a step further. In the next week or two, we're going to do either an in-person, Zoom, or both, where we can actually have a kind of a town hall, where we'll have questions to the hockey people, the whys, the whos, the what, you know, to get a lot of your questions answered. Monthly coaching seminars are something that we're going to institute going into next season instead of bi-monthly or every other month where schedules get too busy. And a more efficient TJS tryout process. We've agreed across the board with our coaches that probably wasn't the best, most efficient process. So we are working to make that better. We'll have that information sent out to everybody as we move forward. Some TJS specific is one-on-one player evaluations. So at the start of the year, middle of the year, and end of the year, we're going to have the coaches, the players' parents, and the player go in for evaluations to start the year, the middle of the year review, and the end of the year review. A great avenue for the parents to express things that are working, things that can help the coach with things that are going on in his lives, just more interaction, FaceTime with the parents and players. Weekly team video review is going to be a requirement at the Texas Junior Star level. It's going to be an expectation of our coaches to perform so that we can teach the game and not take away from developing the players on the ice. At AA, they're going to do that weekly, and at A level, they're going to do it going into game weekends. And with ROI, which is a very good gym we have at the crossover, we've partnered with ROI for dry land for the AA teams. And then Phil, would you like to get into Rising Stars?
Sure. So the top there, well, again, I'll start out with our numbers, I guess, from this past year. At 6U, we had 47, 8U, we had 87, 10U, we had 72, 12U, we had 69, and then 14U, we had 55. So we had a total of 339 participants from 6U all the way up through 14U, which was fantastic numbers. You know, the 6U, 8U don't do playoffs. Our 10U, because of the tournament teams and everything, and the schedule, we ended up not doing playoffs for 10U, but congratulations to the Kraken of the 12U for winning the 12U playoffs. And then those guys in the 14U category, congratulations to them and Coach Preston on winning the 14U playoffs. So just getting into the top there, you know, obviously communication is huge. You know, I think that's something that we can do a better job of next year, more frequently and more clear communication in terms of scheduling and changes that occur throughout the year. Again, Adam touched on there'll be an update in leadership, you know, on the next slide that we'll be able to see. And I think with those additions, specifically to the TRS side, the communication will be you know, much better from the top down for next year, which will allow me, hopefully the vision is to focus a lot more in terms of the hockey and the coaching education portion and the player development portion, because we want to give our players and coaches as much resources as we can on the TRS side, especially with parent volunteer coaches and the coordinators, and just giving those players an opportunity to improve and reach as high as they want to in hockey. So so that's the communication part of it. The next part is player evals. So next year, what we'd like to do is get a beginning, midterm, and end of the year player eval. This will be done at again, beginning, midterm, end. But this is because you're going to be a one-on-one meeting with coaches or anything like that. We'll evaluate, and we'll send out just areas of improvement that each player needs to work on throughout the year. so that they have a better idea whether they want to focus on that during the summer or just throughout the year, give them a little bit more feedback than they got this past year. Creating the parity across the teams. I thought we did a good job talking to the coordinators at all the divisions and all the levels, keeping it competitive throughout the year, and seeing teams that improve throughout the year as well. The one change that we want to make and implement is just, again, making it a little bit more efficient, like Adam touched on with TJS, making everything a little bit more efficient. So next year, we're hoping that we can create a little bit more efficiency there, and really utilize the ice bats to be able to run the station-based practices right away for the first session so that all the coaches can evaluate. They won't have to be bothered to run the stations. They can strictly watch the players and evaluate those players so we can get a grasp on what level they're at. The second session would be cross ice games, so just opening the ice up a little bit more, but keeping them in tight areas, just looking at the skill set within that. And again, we would be managing the benches with the ice bats while the coaches were able to evaluate. And then lastly, that third session will be full ice games. Again, allowing the coaches to evaluate and having us officiate and run those benches for them so that they don't have to worry about doing that and evaluating players at the same time. So again, creating that parity is the biggest portion of TRS and making sure that it's an even playing field across the board. That next portion, the third day PEP option, it was great. We saw a ton of development in the kids that participated in that. The one thing that we're going to change on that, going with the younger players especially, we decided that we needed to do a little bit of skating at the beginning of the year, so that with that program, the first 4 weeks of that program will be skating, power skating. That we players are ready to go, so that we can add along with the PEP. It'll be skating for the first month and then jump into the PEP sessions. Our tournament teams had great success this year. We had a couple 8U teams that ended up winning a couple of tournaments. We had 3 8U tournament teams or 3 teams at the 8U level. We had 1 at 10U, 2 at 12U, and then 2 at 14U. The changes that we're going to make for those tournament teams is that we want to have those tournaments selected at the beginning of the season, so that anybody that's interested in registering for those knows exactly when those tournaments are going to be, and they know exactly what they're getting into it. I think this past year it was a little bit of a second thought for us. So we want to make sure that we have that done and set at the beginning of the year so everybody knows exactly what they're getting at the beginning of the year and whether they want to register for that or not. They'll know exactly where they're going for the tournaments this coming year. Like Adam touched on, it's not just going to be the TGS side of things, but again, a big important part for me next year is the coaching education part on the TRS, because again, we have volunteer coaches, a lot of parent coaches. So we want to make sure that we're getting them as much information as possible. So again, the monthly seminars, ours, the idea of it is to be, topics of interest from the coaches. So having the coaches reach out and say, hey, I'm running into these issues. What are some solutions for that? Okay, we'll talk about that this month, and we'll try to find and work through some of those solutions, and geared towards the ADM model. So again, just a couple examples, creative ways to utilize ice. I know we have a lot of players on the ice. I know we have multiple teams on the ice. So being able to allow the coaches to understand and identify ways that they can accomplish what they want to accomplish in a smaller area. And again, practice plan ideas, making sure that they have all the resources that they need. And if they have questions, that we're available to help them out. The teaching points on that as well, creating videos. So for the very basic, and this is especially for the 8U, 10U, with the ice batters, so there's straight key points take into practice so that they're not going in blind, but they have 3 to 5 teaching points for each skill that they can identify and point out and make sure that players are doing well. So skating, stopping turns, crossovers, pivots, backward skating, stick handling, shooting, passing, all of those things will be included with the teaching points so that they know exactly what they need to identify when they're watching a player and they can correct in real time. And then the last part there is, the yearly plan of development, a pathway for players who want to excel. We want to create the TRS push kids that want to go to travel and want to continue to play for their lifetime. So we want to continue to focus and foster that passion and love for the game. But we also want them to have the ability to move into travel hockey if they want, or continue to play after the 14 UTRS into high school, into college. So what our goal here in the TRS is to create that plan and help our coaches to implement the plan so that the players can have success, and those that want to continue to pursue a higher level of hockey have the resources to be able to do that, and just identify a pathway for parents and coaches so that they can see the development and the process, I guess, is the biggest focus for that. So that's kind of the wrap up for TRS. I thought it was a great year. And again, there's some things that we're going to get better on for next year.
So yeah, we got updated hockey leadership for more collaboration across levels. That's the next slide. So we'll go into that one. And so as you can see, everybody, we're adding some names, which makes all of us very excited. As the program grows and the amount of kids playing hockey in our program grows, we need to make sure that we grow as well and make sure we have enough support across the board. So we're happy, thrilled, super excited. Can't be any more excited to bring Angie Vaught starting in May to be full-time at the AMHA. I know it's a sad day for Chaparral Ice, but we are lucky that she will be full-time with the AMHA, no longer at the rink starting in May. I'll still be with the TJS as the hockey director. Phil and Sean Tallier will be Texas Rising Stars hockey director, and then Leonard Swaim, who you guys have seen around, is also the president of the Girls Hockey Club of Austin. We have a slide later on that is a lot more information about Girls Hockey Club of Austin if you aren't aware. So very excited to have more support on the hockey side, the admin side. It's a lot of it's going to be, when we had those last minute schedule changes and it took a while to get that email to you, or change in Sports Engine. The things that drive people nuts, those are what we're trying to prevent, so that people can come to the rink and worry about playing hockey and know what time they're supposed to be there. A little overview of the offerings that AMHA has is Texas Junior Stars, which is our travel league that plays within the Dallas Stars Travel Hockey League. The ages for that are 10U through 18U. So this last year we had 8 total Junior Stars teams. Texas Rising Stars is our house rec league. That has ages 6U through 14U. Includes an option which Phil talked about, is to participate on our tournament teams. The Girls Hockey Club of Austin, which Leonard will touch on here in a couple minutes, is optional add-on for female TRS and TJS players, a place where the girls can come together and play with all girls hockey, which is great. We also offer goalie specific training with Coach Peter, weekly goalie specific training. And then we have Power Edge Pro, which we brought in last year. And, from the rec level to the travel level, the people who put in the work doing that, we saw a huge amount of development on those players. I'll keep going, Laura. This is a slide on what Power Edge Pro is. We partnered with them last year. It's called PEP for short. So if you hear the coaches saying PEP, 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 that's what Power Edge Pro is. It's offered weekly with our Junior Stars program. And then it's part of our 3rd day program for the Texas Rising Stars. A couple notes is no other development system has graduated more players in the NHL. It's a primary training tool along with skating sessions and other skill training. I already touched on that, but TRS players must select 3rd day option in their registration to receive the PEP training, which Phil talked about. The thing we ran into and noticed with working with PEP with the Rising Stars towards the beginning of the year is we need to hammer home some skating first before we can go around the gear and accomplish a lot of the goals that the PEP is made for. And then again, the slide will be recorded and put on our Facebook and YouTube, so you can look at those slides. Coaches, like I said, we're kind of waiting for the USA Hockey calendar year to roll over. So we are going to announce them. If that's the reason you're on the call, I'm sorry, but we will announce them, as you can see, via email and social media by April 1st. So we want to get that right. We want to make sure our coaches are with the right age groups, and make sure we have the right coaches in the right spots to have opportunities to succeed. And we didn't want this call to be about the coaches. We wanted it to be about what we're doing to make it better. Texas Junior Stars levels. So, you know, I know there's new people on the call moving into travel, moving in from out of town, but here in Austin, Texas, we play in the DSTHL, and we have teams that are AA, which is our upper, and our A, which is our lower. How it works is DSTHL determines each team's level based on the team's performance in the Labor Day leveling tournament, which takes place in Dallas. To give you an idea, so we have tryouts. You know, we'll use 14U, for example. We are fielding a 14U AA team and a 14U A team. When we sign up for this tournament, we enter that we have a 14U AA team and a 14U A team. If our teams go there and our AA team goes 0-6 and we get outscored 100-0, we're not going to be level as the AA team. Vice versa for A level. If we go in and run the table at A and smoke everybody, we'll probably be moved up to A. So there is the added responsibility of the organization, the hockey people involved here in the AMHA, to make sure that we determine what level the players are. And it's also a difference in cost and resources that we really throw at each level, if that makes sense. We can keep going. The program overview going into next year. So you can see the amount of practices or ice touches or sessions each week. So the one thing that we're toying with the fine line of providing that elite experience for the people who want more at the travel level, while also making sure that we don't give up on the developmental side, and also having a home for the developmental side, which is our A side. So we've added in higher expectations with our coaches at the AA level and the A level, but our AA level is going to be mandatory coach-led video, mandatory that the coaches are at our once-a-week ROI training. We're adding more responsibility for our coaches, and we'll get to that. This is a slide that breaks down the prices. If you see the 16U, there's an asterisk next to that because we won't know what our 16U A or AA team will look like until tryouts happen or until we see registrations. And that's an age where some people decide to leave or retire or play high school. And we want to make sure we have a good idea. If it's AA, then there'll be more resources. And that price will go up to what you see with the 14U AA. And 18U, you gave an example. We would love to have an 18U team. We had one last year. But this time last year, we had a group of kind of folks who spearheaded kind of an 18U call of action to make sure we had a team. So if you're on this call listening and you're an 18U parent that wants to have a team, we're open to it. Get in touch with us, and we will definitely field a team. We're not against it. We loved having a team. Phil Plant did a good job. Our 16s and 18s shared a sheet each week, and we did PEP together and small area games and skill development. So again, this will all be put on the website. I just wanted to kind of skim through that. Go ahead. Tryouts. Oh, did we go? Where are we at? This is where we're at? Okay. Additional details for our junior stars. So one thing we noticed as a group of hockey people with our junior stars was from the top down, we weren't setting the right I shouldn't say the right expectations. We're setting the expectations needed to, I think, be a travel hockey player and, you know, to have that commitment. So some of the expectations that are going to be given to these players and held to these players are all activities are mandatory attendance. So our practices, our dry lands, our tournaments, our games, our team activities, what we want to push home is we're doing these things as a team, right? We're going to a tournament as a team. We're doing dry land as a team. We're doing paintball as a team. If we're going to do handing out food at the food drive, we're doing it as a team. And that's going to be an expectation, right? It's a commitment to play travel hockey. It just is. It really is. And it's not for every single player and parent in the world. I have 2 kids of my own, and I have no idea if it'll be for them. Positive attitude and work ethic, being a good teammate, respect your coaches and your peers, and giving back to your community, whether that's helping out at Learn to Skate, Learn to Play, food drives. Some additional things we added is we've worked out our off ice to be run once a week at ROI. So I'm not saying it's going to be an added day, but it's going to be an added hour of dry land that's going to be run by them professionally. They're very well equipped. They're very good trainers. We had a lot of our teams work out with them this year, and everyone loved them. The A teams will have dry land run by coaches, or they have an option to agree as a team to purchase ROI or other, sorry, my screen's dry land. We hit on the weekly team video review with coaches with AA teams, and video review going into game weekends for A teams. 3 one-on-one player evaluations with coach, which we hit on early season, mid-season, and into season. So we want to be able to, beginning of the year, hey, Johnny, we've noticed that your backhand, you can't catch a pass on your backhand with your head up and these type of things. Let's work on that. And we get to the mid-season. Hey, we've seen these improvements. Let's work on this into the year as well. Practices, again, will be at North Cross, the Crossover, and HEB Center. Coaches will select the tournaments. One thing we can all admit with TJS is the tournaments, we all want to know where we're going and the who, what, when, or why ahead of time. So we're going to, we'd love to go into tryouts. In a perfect world, we'd love to go into tryouts and look at everybody before tryouts starts and say, this is where we're going. But we would like to see the formation of our teams first, and then shortly after the formation of our teams, be able to announce these are the tournaments we're going to. And we would also like to, as a Junior Stars program, go to a tournament as a program. So bring all of our teams to one tournament, just to bring that camaraderie together. Again, monthly blackout dates. I think this is important, but we'll work with Laura in our scheduling so it doesn't impact practices, but somewhere where, again, we talked, we wanted to have more coaches meetings. When Phil was talking about having coaches meetings with Rising Stars coaches and myself with Junior Stars coaches, we're having those together. So we want to have our coaches together, learning from each other. We want our Junior Stars coaches knowing what's going on with their Rising Stars. Rising Stars know what's going on with their Junior Stars. So there is more camaraderie for Rising Stars players who want to play travel or vice versa, just to have that camaraderie. Again, Phil's going to love this. All registered players will get a free season ticket to all Austin Ice Bats home games. Season will start August 28th and end very similar to this year. I think this year was the first weekend in March was playoffs, and the weekend before that was the end of the regular season. We don't know playoff dates yet. Tryouts, these are important, and please notice the asterisk, and I'll get to that, but tryouts for 10UAA, 12UAA, and 14UAA will be at the Crossover June 11th and 12th. And then June 18th and 19th, 10UA, 12UA, 14UA, 16U, and 18U. We put that asterisk because there's this huge Super Series tournament that's taken up all the ice that weekend at all 3 rinks that we operate out of. So we are in talks with them to find a wiggle room, whether it's real early in the morning or real late at night over that 18th, 19th weekend to make the tryouts happen. Otherwise, we might have to move it into that following week, whether it's the 20th, whatever. So that's why there's an asterisk. So when you look at those, if you're somebody who's traveling in for tryouts, we just wanted to be really clear that second week could change, but we're doing everything in our power to try to squeeze in with what the rinks have available for that weekend. Again, the first weekend should be for players who want to try out for AA. And the second weekend will be players who didn't make AA, who will be, again, trying out for the A level. In the past, historically, we've said it's mandatory that all players come to AA. We've listened, we've learned that we don't need to require that. If you want to be an A player and that's where you want to play and that's where you think you're fit, you can go to the A tryout. You don't have to go to the AA tryout. Now, the more we see you, the more the coaches see you, the evaluators see you, the better chance you have of being on one of those teams. But we're taking that requirement out because we've learned that some players do want to be A players. Some people only want to be AA, vice versa. So there's the link there for more details on tryouts. Registration for tryouts will be open as soon as we can. We actually have the link ready. Laura sent it to me and I tried to do it, and it won't let you yet because you have to have your 22-23 USA Hockey registration, which is not open yet. USA Hockey rolls their year over towards the first weekend of April. So as soon as the tryout registration's open, we will blast that out in social and email and everything like that. And then something that we added to our registration that's super important for people to note is volunteer opportunities, whether you're signing up your kid and you want to be a team manager or a locker room attendant or scorekeep or a videographer or run the social activities or other opportunities that maybe you think of. Maybe you want to be the water bottle filler. In the registration, you'll have a spot to indicate your interest. So I know it's a lot. And again, we'll send this out and you can read it, but I wanted to go over all that. So let's see what else we got. I kind of just touched on this, but once the USA Hockey opens up their 22-23 membership process, we'll send out the stuff for tryouts. Again, the dates are there. Please notice the asterisk, subject to change. We're doing everything in our power to get that weekend to happen. And we'll let everyone know as soon as we know. Phil, take it away, buddy. I'm taking a break.
So there won't be any changes to the cost, as you can see for the TRS side of things. Again, the 2-day option, a practice during the week, and then the game on the weekends. There is the 3rd day option for each age group for the additional option. Again, keep the portable for anybody that wanted to play hockey and wanted to start out in hockey, or again just wanted to again participate in the TRS side. I would encourage all the TSR or TRS players that want to try out for the AA or A TJS to go and even just get the experience for it. You don't really know where you stand until you participate in those opportunities. So I would encourage them to try. We saw a lot of development this year. Not just with the 2-day options, but the 3rd day options with PEP and everything. So I would definitely encourage players to give it a shot if that's something that they feel like they'd like to pursue. I think that's it. The rising stars here, just again, the additional details, like Adam said with TJS, all the registered players will get a free season ticket to the Ice Bats games. Hopefully we'll be a little bit more competitive next year, a little bit more entertaining. Optional tournament teams, again, we'll have those options for you at registration, so that if you're interested in the tournament team as TRS players, we'll form those towards the beginning of the season. And again, the tournament locations and dates will be announced at the registration. We'll have those for you so that you guys know exactly what you're getting into and where the tournaments are going to be going. Again, earlier we talked about the player evaluations. Most of those will not be one-on-one player evaluations with your coach. I'll talk to our coordinators and coaches and see if we can take that on with, again, just the having a lot more players involved with TRS, but at minimum they'll be getting an evaluation and a grade card or an evaluation card, so that they know exactly what to work on throughout the year. Apologize, my dog. Most likely have with hiccups throughout the year, potentially HEB as well. In monthly blackout dates, where all the TJS and TRS coaches are coming together, like Adam talked about, to make sure that we're consistently coaching all of our players throughout the organization, not just TRS on the TRS side, not just on the TJS side, but making sure that we're unified in kind of what we're projecting and what we want the organization to be. And then again, the optional PEP training for those who choose the third day add-on. Again, I encourage anybody that didn't do it this year to give it a shot. We saw tremendous strides in the players that participated in that in this year, from even from the six U's all the way up through the 14 U's that participated. It was great to see their development and skill development throughout the year. Our season starts September 12th and ends early March 2023. And again, a lot of that information will be out with registration.
Phil, can I touch on your starting date real quick? So I know we had a lot of you brave through the freezing cold year-end party we had at the HEB Center, but with the feedback we got from that and how much fun it was and how fun it was to have everyone together, we're going to do that at the beginning of the year too this year. Might not be at the Junior Stars game. We'll find somewhere, but we're going to try to get, and I'm not just talking Rising Stars, players from both programs, all of our programs, to have some sort of kickoff at the beginning of the year. So everyone can meet each other, meet the coaches, meet the admin, meet everybody. So have that on your radar. We don't know where that's going to be yet. It's only March, but I just want to let you guys know we're going to do a preseason kickoff party as well. Sorry to interrupt you, Phil. Keep going.
No problem. Maybe we can have the kickoff party at the Austin Ice Bats home opener. Just an idea.
All right.
Again, in the season registration, you'll have the opportunity, like Adam said, in the TJS side, other opportunities. Scorekeeping on the TRS, big focal point in terms of making sure that we had that taken care of and everything. We want to make sure, again, that's one of the improvements we'll make this next year, is ensuring that we have all of our I's and I's dotted on that. And then skaters, don't forget to select the third day add-on if you want the PEP training. And then again, the 10U and up goalies, if you select the third day add-on and you want the goalie training, select that third day to be able to get the third day of goalie training as well.
And that goalie training, it's important to note that that was for 10U and up, because of the fact we tried with some younger goalies, and just the instruction is not, the kids can't last the full hour, and it's not a negative to the kids. It's the way Peter coaches. It's 10 and up, and so Phil will work on finding something for the younger goalies as well. Leonard's up.
All right. So, hey, everybody, want to talk to you and give you an update about GHCA, or our Girls Hockey Club of Austin. I'm going to take a second because I know some of you may not even be aware that we're an organization that exists, but we are going into our third calendar year, but we just completed in February 2 very successful foundational years of establishing the Girls Hockey Club of Austin. So we're a nonprofit that sits underneath AMHA. So very much a true partnership. And we are at a point now where our team members, both on the leadership side for GHCA and our girls within the program, are ready to take it to the next level. So that's why you'll see a whole lot more from GHCA going forward into this next hockey season. So let me tell you a little bit why we exist and the things that we're focusing on, and then I'll tell you kind of our goals and our program layout for the next year. In hockey, if you look at our 6U, and that's the image behind me, is actually from 2 years ago, from 2020, 2021. Over 10 to 20% at the lower levels across 6U and 8U are girls within our program. If you go and look at any Learn to Skate, if you go look at Learn to Play, there are a ton of girls on the ice. Our girls love ice hockey just as much as our boys. What happens as they start to get older is the game starts to separate, right? The elements of hitting, the physical difference in size, those things start to shine through, and the rules of the game change, right? And we're actually lucky in Austin that at the 14U age group level, in our house league, there is no checking, right? So our girls here locally can continue to play in the TRS level. But if you look at other cities, San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, their house leagues at 14U allow checking, right? So the girls, in order to continue to play and stay safe and still enjoy the game, and that's really where the game starts to change for the style, they have to have their own leagues. They have to find places to play against other girls, or unfortunately, what ends up happening a lot of times, they just quit, right? And we don't want that. That's not a long-term solution, right? If girls are coming into this program, starting at age of 3 or 4, learning to skate, getting over that hurdle of learning to skate, getting to learn to play, getting over the hurdle of learning how to play the game, getting into house league, playing 6 years of house league, and then all of a sudden, because they turned 13, now it's drive to Dallas to play or quit. That's not good, right? So we exist here to help support the competitive side of female hockey, but also give them an outlet to be able to play for their entire life, right? And last year, we ran programming right along the AMHA season. We had at the crossover, we had a girls upper level skill development sessions that were running on Wednesday evenings. And then at North Cross, we've been running for, 2+ years now, girls skill development on Sunday evenings. Coming into this season, we're going to marry these programs together and really bring it together under one AMHA, family umbrella. So when you go and sign up next year or for this coming up season, that third day option for PEP, we're going to have that exclusively available for our girls program. So you're going to be able to get PEP, and because we're going to have less girls on the ice, and ultimately we're going to want to build our competitive side and build up our skills, our team concepts and team skills, we're going to combine those two. So we're going to bring our PEP for 30 minutes and then also have team concepts and game focus for our 10U to 14U girls. Ultimately, we want to develop that girls team so that we can go and do a home and home series against girls from Houston, Dallas, West Texas, maybe even do a home and home with teams from Colorado and other parts of the country. Then as well, we're going to participate in tournaments, right? This last year, out of Dallas, they had Team Texas, which a lot of our girls went and played different tournaments around the state. We believe that there's enough girls in our program that we can provide that here, where you guys don't have to go and travel and play with people that you haven't practiced with all year, right? So ultimately, we're giving that path for our 10U and 14U, but we don't want to ignore our 6U and 8U. They as well will be able to get the great aspects of PEP in their third day option. And instead of working on team concepts and game focus, because that's not really for the development stage that they're in, that's not their focus, we're just going to do scrimmages. Give them a chance to play against other girls. And we'll also be working in the background to find girls in the greater Austin area that may not be a part of the AMHA league that we invite to come up and play in those sessions alongside of us, right? And I don't want to leave out our TJS girls. We absolutely support 100% all of our girls that are in the TJS program that make the travel teams. We'll still leave them a roster spot on any of our home and home series or our tournaments so that they can come and play in an all girls environment as well, as long as their schedule provides. The girls team practice, that third day option, is completely optional for TJS because they're already going to have 3 or 4 skill sessions. Just understanding family time and obligations, they really don't need that 5th session, but if they wanted to come out for the camaraderie, we absolutely will welcome them out here for that. And one thing I should have led off with to show you guys that, GHCA has been around for 2 years, but there's been a lot of people working behind the scenes to support our girls program and girls development. Adam mentioned in the beginning on the boys side, going up to the Rocky Mountain District and representing the state of Texas. We had some boys. We also have 3 girls that started playing in TRS, played TJS, and they are now also going to represent the Rocky Mountain Division or Rocky Mountain District as well. So, there's a lot of great things that we can do. And, if you're interested in getting involved, we are always looking for volunteers. You do not have to have a daughter in the program. If you just want to support our cause, reach out to me, reach out to anybody that's on the leadership team, and we're happy to get you guys engaged.
Is that all, Leonard?
That's all I got. I'll talk for days, but
I
I'll
know.
throw it
No,
back
no,
to
no.
you.
I wasn't saying it. So Leonard is very humble, but you know, I love being able to call Leonard a friend, and the marriage of these two programs officially is very exciting because the girls are taking off, the boys hockey's taking off, and Leonard walks the walk, talks the talk. The guy's always at the rink. He's a 75th degree black belt. He runs dry land like a ninja, and he's really, really, really good with kids, both boys and girls. He helped 10U AA this year out of the kindness of his heart. Went all the way to Alaska with him. Helped 14U AA. The guy's always at the rink. So you know, we're super lucky to have somebody like Leonard that's also in our you know, the spearhead in the women's program, but also very active in the boys program as well. So Leonard, thank you so much for all the time. You don't ever move. Stay here. We love you. And thank you for touching on that. So we just want to touch on goalie training again. So there was some confusion going into last year, so we made sure that these slides were changed. So in addition to your regular team practices with the Rising Stars, which Phil touched on, 10U and up goalies who register for the third day options, they will receive the weekly goalie specific training from the hockey company, and are welcome to also attend the Sunday Power Edge Pro sessions as the goalie. So really, if you're a TRS 10U up and goalie and you pick the third day, you can get 4 days of training. Now, while if you go to PEP as a goalie, you're just going to receive a bunch of shots, not really much instruction. That option is there. And again, you must select the third day option if you want to do the goalie training. In Texas Junior Stars, it is built in. It's in addition to your regular team practices. We do our best to try to put that goalie practice built around the Junior Star schedule so we don't have any conflict, so you don't miss any team practices, but it's really, really, really hard. I think it conflicted with the 18U this year. It's really, really hard. So we definitely do our best on that front. The AMHA SCRO Memorial Scholarship Program. It's very special to us, but if you need to know the history, you can click on that link. But what's been really great is the very, very hard work of a bunch of people in our community to fundraise. You know, hockey is not the cheapest sport in the world. It's a commitment, and we've been able to, at least the couple of years that I've been lucky enough to help out with awarding scholarships, never said no. And that's very important to us because we want to be able to have everybody who wants to play hockey. And it's even better to have the SCROs as the scholarship program. Very important dates to look at below. May 30th is the deadline to apply for Junior Stars scholarship program. And the Rising Stars players, July 30th is your deadline to apply. It takes a lot of time to go through those applications and all that. So please try to get if you need a scholarship, send your stuff in before those dates. Summary. That means we're almost done, everybody. Told you I keep it under an hour. TRS. Players, be on the lookout for the season registration in early April. Again, coaches, we'll send out the application as soon as the calendar year rolls over for USA Hockey. We do that so you don't have to do things twice. When you go in and register, we want your USA Hockey number to be in there, your module to be in there, everything updated. So when our registrar looks at everything, she has all the updated info, and we know that come December 31st, you needed to get your level 2 or whatever that is. TJS, same thing. Look for the tryout registration first week of April. And I know a lot of people are always looking for updates, announcements. If you don't follow our Instagram or Facebook, hopefully you all have one of those two. I have both, but you can know what's going on at all times, what time our Zooms are, our coaches' announcements, updates to weather schedule, everything like that. And then our monthly newsletter. you can click on that once this is sent out and sign up for our monthly newsletter, which Anya does a great job. And I know it's still kind of 21-22 season, but let's get ready to have another fun season of hockey coming up, 22-23. The scholarships, again, the deadlines are there. And I did forget, but we'll announce it when we have our registration open for Junior Stars. But the deadline to register for Texas Junior Stars tryouts is the last day of May. I think it's 31st. I think there's 31st for 31 days in May. After that, there will be $100 fee. We do that because there's an extreme amount of planning that goes into tryouts and setting the teams. Last year, we had 240 players come to Junior Stars tryouts. So there's a lot of planning that happens from May 30th until 11 days later. So unless you're new into town, you show up on the 9th, please get your registrations in before that date. As you can see on the very, very bottom, this Zoom is recorded. It'll be available on our education resource page, which is awesomemetrohockey.org/education-resources. I think, is that the last slide, Laura? So again, I think with hopefully going through that, there is somewhere for everybody who plays hockey in Austin to play. We really think that is, if you are go, and you want the best and you're the best, we have that at AA. If you're striving to be the best and you're just not there yet, we have that at A. If you're still striving to be that best, we have a great rec program. If you just want to be a rec player, we have a great rec program. If you're a girl, we have Girls Hockey Club of Austin. So I truly feel like we are getting very, very close to hockey for everybody. And that's our goal. While we don't ever claim to be perfect, we strive to definitely get better every year, which I think we're doing. And with the additions of Angie and then Phil last year and Sean, that's just more resources working behind the scenes to make the experience better for you guys on the ice. And that's really what we want, is you to show up, your kids to have fun and come back next year. So yeah, that's really it. That's all we have. Thank you for taking your time on a Wednesday night. Be on the lookout for our town hall AMHA cares meeting to come up in the next couple of weeks, where we can do a sit down and talk more specifics on hockey or things that the who, what, when, where, why. We'd like to do that probably face to face here in the warm room or somewhere, and just really sit down and kind of get to know the hockey community a little better. So thank you guys. Enjoy your Wednesday and enjoy your summer. Thanks, everybody.